Hello everyone, this is John from Compass Rose Bushcraft. Today I want to do a brief reflective piece with you about some of the gear that I carry. 30 plus years ago when I started canoe camping in earnest, the encouragement in the paddling circles was to buy the latest high-tech gear. So the lightweight nylons and down sleeping bags and all of that kind of equipment. And so I went out and bought much of that kind of equipment. It seemed to be what was available, among other things. The ethic of the canoe camping that I was doing was to take only pictures and leave only footprints. But as I began to do that kind of camping, I became concerned that a lot of the gear I had purchased and was encouraged to purchase, in fact, was actually very hard on the environment. All of the plastics and nylons and whatnot that were part of modern high-tech gear. Further to that, then I had some experiences with the high-tech gear, paying good money and sometimes a lot of money for gear, but having it fail after only a year or two, when things like canvases and wools and whatnot will last sometimes decades and sometimes longer than that. I had one particular incident on a campsite when I was wearing a puffy that I had, and I was sitting with my back to the fire, playing cards with some friends around the campfire, and there was a pop in the fire pit behind me. I didn't think anything of it. There was lots of popping taking place that day from the wood. And then I began to smell burning nylon. And I thought, who threw something that toxic onto the fire? And it wasn't until a little later on that day, when I took my jacket off, I realized that the burning nylon was me. In fact, there is still, after all these years, a little bit of wood embedded in it, and that one single little bit of spark from the fire had grazed onto my jacket, and in an instant it had burned a hole in. Now, fortunately, there's flame retarders, so it burned and then smoldered, but it burned right through. You can see my finger through it. It took the insulation, the top cover and the bottom lining, and burned its way through. And so I became quite concerned about how vulnerable this gear was to the basic things that happen on campsites. I'm also concerned that when doing something like canoe camping, although the older gear is heavier, it endures so well, and the canoe is carrying the weight, that I started carrying the wools and canvases again for some of my camping because of its resilience to picks from trees as you're on a portage trail, sparks from fires. Wool doesn't tend to burn as easily or as quickly as the nylon clearly did. And the cotton canvas that my anorak is made of, a spark such as the one that hit my nylon jacket would simply have bounced off. But then further to that, the wool and the canvas that I'm now taking with me, it's warm. It's warm even when it's wet. It doesn't tear or pick easily. And at the end of the day, when it has to go into a landfill or something along that line, it is all biodegradable. And indeed, now I feel more that I am taking only pictures and leaving only footprints when I am out into the wilderness. So just some reflections. I really wanted to say, though, that I understand the need for the high-tech gear if one is doing long-distance lightweight hiking or long-distance lightweight cycling or some other sport along that line. It makes sense for the through hikers who need to keep their pack weights down and so on. But in a canoe, which is most of what I do, and even in some of the hiking that I have done, the gear is not that much heavier, and its durability and its biodegradability means that I feel better about my experience in the wilderness and that I am actually caring for God's creation at the end of the day. So just a few reflections about that. I'm grateful that the more traditional gear is available from a number of suppliers around the country. They are not hard to find on the internet, and that gear is solid, durable, venerable from years of use by many people over many generations, and is one of the ways that I try to care for creation. So this is John from Compass Rose Bushcraft. Thanks for listening. I look forward to any comments that may be made in the comment section. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.